Are you ready? Yeah! Whoa! Are you ready?
Okay, I am back now with the review for the ROCCAT Kiro gaming mouse. Now, first of all, I'm going to go through a couple of the features. Well, actually, I'll run through the main features of the mouse, and then I'll go through them individually with a little bit more detail, including what you can see behind me, the ROCCAT Swarm program, which is the, I guess, the base station or the hub for all of your ROCCAT devices. The ROCCAT Kiro features 4,000 DPI, and I'll go in a little bit more detail shortly as to what that is. Torque effects plus alien effects support, so your ROCCAT device, whether it be the Kiro or something else, is compatible with Alienware devices, their keyboards or their computers and things like that, so they can talk to each other, which is quite good. For the illumination, you can match up the illumination of the keyboards with your mouse, etc. Also, it has a Superdexterous shape, which is, for me, probably the most interesting, the most useful feature of the ROCCAT Kiro. There is 16.8 million multicolor illumination, which is neat. It's not really going to enhance your gameplay, but it's cool about setting a bit of a signature, and also just for some cool effects on your desktop. Next, it has a 32-bit ARM CPU and onboard memory. Now that's really important for somebody that does move around and go out to competitions, etc., or to friends' houses. And once again, I'll develop on that a little bit further into this video. And an extendable design with modular component compatibility. Now that once again ties in with the Superdexterous shape that I'm really interested in. Alright, so first up, the 4,000 DPI. It is 2,000 DPI native with an overdrive to 4,000, so effectively doubles your DPI. It's kind of like overclocking a CPU on a computer. So what is the DPI for? What is it? It stands for dots per inch, and it's just basically the sensitivity for the mouse. So it will affect the speed and movement, and it's just can change from intricate sensitive parts about moving your mouse cursor on the screen. So as you can see on the ROCCAT Swarm program, which is on on my background there, I'm moving the mouse around now. I've got this set at 2400, so 2400 DPI, and that is generally where I'll use the ROCCAT Kiro for day-to-day use. Now, using one of the customizable buttons, you can switch that. So what I'll do, I'll switch it to the basic one, 400 DPI, which is quite low. And now I'm moving the mouse around quite a fair bit, but it's staying around the center, so it doesn't move very far, being a low DPI. Now with that, I use that if I'm moving something very precise in a, say, like a video editing program or audio editing, which is what I use my computer and my mouse mainly for. I wouldn't call myself a hardcore gamer, but it is also very useful for doing things in-game as well. So what that then, if you move up to 800, obviously it doubles the speed, the movement, the DPI of the mouse, and as I said, I use it around the 2400. Now, if you're a professional gamer, you might be playing a game like Call of Duty where you need real fast rotation, fast reaction, and your 4,000 DPI is probably where you're at, and it will take a little bit of getting used to, a bit of control, but that's what I mean when I say it's for your hardcore gamer, somebody that's in a competition, needs to spin around, needs to pinpoint accuracy of shooting somebody and getting that done really quickly with very minimal movement of the mouse. So that means it is faster. You don't actually have to move your mouse across the screen to get your character to move across the screen. It's literally a twitch of the hand, and you can go from one side of the mouse screen to the other, which will move your character in your games, etc. So, and that's doable on the fly like that, and it's very responsive. As you can see, it's cycling through the DPIs as I tap the button, and I'll stop at 2400, which is where I will use my mouse for day-to-day use of my computer. Moving on to the torque effects and Alienware support. Now, this is something that I can't really test out, so I've got to take the box and other people's words for it. But as I said before when I was introducing it, Alienware have keyboards and computers, laptops, etc. that have the glow features in it, where there's all those beautiful colours, etc. The ROCCAT devices, as well as the ROCCAT Kiro, has the ability to synchronize up with them and basically get the same colours going at the same time, as well as a few other features. But unfortunately, I don't have any Alienware products, so I can't really test that out per se. But anyway, it does have that ability there, and I'm sure people that use it will probably be quite interested in setting it up. It's not going to change your life. The Superdexterous shape. Now, the actual shape of the mouse is pretty much ambidextrous, but the Superdexterous part of it is the fact that it has that modular shape. So I guess I'll mould in the extendable design part of it as well. But the shape of it, now, as you saw in the unboxing, those little pieces on the side, which contain 2 mouse buttons, are removable and interchangeable. Now, it is super easy to do and doesn't take any time at all. There's no clips and there's no screws and there's nothing like that. It magnetizes to the side of the mouse and it does it very easily. And in using the mouse now for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I've not noticed any issues with it moving around while I'm using the mouse. So even though there's no clips or screws, I don't have any issues with that. It is really, it's a perfect design. It's wonderful. Now, they come off with ease, and you can replace them with the blanks, or you can use the buttons. Now, I'm going to show you in the ROCCAT Swarm program here what you can actually do is how you assign those buttons. Now, at the moment, I have the buttons on the right hand side of the mouse here, and that's because I'm left-handed, and I put a blank on this side. Now, should I want to actually change that, all you need to do is physically change it on the mouse. So you just got to remove it and put either the blank or another mouse on there. Come to your ROCCAT Swarm program here and click this one. Now, that has changed it from buttons to a blank, and those buttons now on the right hand side here are now listed as blank, and you could do that for both sides. Okay, so I've got the buttons on the left hand side. Yes, I have the buttons on the right hand side, so I should have that one on and that one off, and that way I don't bump any buttons on it here. For the purpose of this review, I've actually got buttons on both sides there, so I'll leave them both on. And you can make them whatever you want. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, just for the future section of this review, basic functions, I'm going to put tilt right on this one and tilt left, and apply that, and I'll show you about what the tilt feature is as well later. So that's how you do the buttons. It's really that simple. So you literally just swap them on the mouse, no changes other than taking it off, putting on the new one, and then you come in here and switch what you've done on the actual setup there. Alright, so I'll move on to the 32-bit MCU onboard memory. I said CPU before, I believe, but that's wrong. 32-bit MCU onboard memory. What is that for? Now, all of these things here that I can set up, so if I want to go to, which one, button 4, and set up a hotkey or a macro, so you can do whatever you want there using these things here. You want to press, you want the mouse button to be shift and a letter, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to set anything up, but you can set that, and that will actually save that shortcut or that hotkey or whatever you want to call it, macro, to the mouse itself, because it has onboard memory. Now, saving it to the mouse is all well and good for when you're using it on, you know, your own PC. It doesn't really make much of a difference. But the benefit is, if you then move around a lot, go to competitions, go to friend's house, and you want to take your own mouse and use it because you're comfortable with it, you don't have to go over to the competition PC, so to speak, and install Swarm and set it all up again. It's all saved on the mouse. So plug it in, don't worry about installing ROCCAT Swarm, and use your hotkeys, use your setup the way it's set up, because it's saved on the mouse, not on your PC. So that's a really great design, a great feature, for the ROCCAT gear. So ROCCAT Kiro has that feature, and yeah, you won't have to muck around if you go to a friend's house or a competition, which is very important, because I can't imagine the competition runners or anything like that are going to be happy with you installing your own program. So that really does help. Okay, so what I'll go into a few more features that are in the setup and the settings here. So go back across the settings. Now, sensitivity options here, that's I'm sure most people that know computers and mice will know what the sensitivity is. That's just going to move, it's kind of similar to your DPI switcher. The vertical scroll speed, now that's obvious as well when you're on a website. When you're scrolling up and down, everybody knows all about. Now the horizontal tilt, now it says horizontal tilt, which was a little bit confusing to me. Doing a little bit of research to find out what that is, I did work out what it was. So let me just come across to a website that I've opened up here. As you saw before, I attached the horizontal left and right to those buttons. That's what that is. So you can scroll horizontal for websites that do this. I don't see very many of these websites, but some of them do that, where you'll have to scroll from left to right there, and the up and down won't work for you. So that's it. Now, instead of using the actual scroll across the bottom, you can use the buttons, or you can click the center mouse, which gives you this thing where you can set it and it'll automatically scroll for you, which is kind of cool. Alright, so let's go back to Swarm there. What are we up to? The double click speed, now that's obvious, these are all settings that generally Windows will have as well, so you can have a test area there to find out how fast it is and how quickly you need to double click before it stops registering that you're double clicking. Windows pointer speed, it's once again same as the mouse, you can change those settings in Windows. The button assignment I've gone through, so you can change all of the different buttons there, 10 buttons. I think I said 9 in the unboxing. I think I forgot to count the scroll wheel click. So there's 10 buttons there total, unless you remove one of the modular buttons there. Advanced settings. Now the polling rate, I'm not really going to go into that one there. Not many people need to know about that, and I don't know about that. Distance control unit, I believe that's just the height in which you're going to have the mouse off the table. I guess that's probably important if you're using a glass top surface, just so it can work out what it's getting, where it's getting the actual track from. Sound feedback, you can set this so if you press, yeah, let me change put this on. So if you change the DPI, it'll give you sort of a sound feedback.
4,000 dpi, 400 dpi.
You may not be able to hear that, but
800 dpi, 1,600 dpi, 2,400 dpi.
It's just going to read out what the DPI setting is for you. I don't like using that because I do a lot of audio recording and I don't want to press that, have that come through while I'm recording. So there you go, and you can set the volume for it. Illumination. Now, as I said, what did I say? How many is there? There's like 1.6. Let me see. Yeah, no, 16.8. 16.8 million different color combinations there, and this can be set up to coincide with your Alienware. So I like to have it just so it's breathing through the different colors. It just looks nice sitting on your desk. And the orientation. Now orientation, I am left-handed, but I will always leave it set to right-handed because I was brought up always using right-handed mice with my left hand. Swapping that over is going to switch the left and right buttons around, so the left button will then become the right button and the right button become the left button, etc, etc. So I won't touch that, I'll leave that as it is. So that basically covers out the settings in the ROCCAT Swarm program. It's very easy to install. Now I already had Swarm installed after using my ROCCAT Cover, and all I had to do literally was plug in the Kiro, sorry, the Kiro, yeah, no, I said that right, the Kiro, and it brought up a prompt saying install program or install drivers, and I just said yes. Once it finished installing, which took approximately 5 minutes if that, it told me to pull it out and plug it back in again, and it was done. That was it. That's all you needed to do. Automatically grabbed the drivers off the net for me and installed them. I didn't have to go and get like a subsequent program, and I didn't have to go and search for the driver. It all did it all for me, which was pretty neat. So I was happy with that. Now, the last thing I want to mention before I give you my overall review of it, on the box it says that it's 3D print support, has 3D print support. Now, what I'll do is I'm just going to flick across to the website. Now, there's a 3D print library on the ROCCAT website. Now, on the Kiro support page, it does say that it's coming soon. So it's not actually available as yet, but they will have a 3D print library that you can download for your 3D printer. Now, it's pretty neat. They've currently only got support on here for the NIF, but this gives you a good idea of what you can expect. See these things here? You can put your own nickname on the side there with a couple of buttons. You can make up all different colors, different button styles, different locations, and different things to put on the side of the mouse. Now, obviously the NIF is a little bit more customizable. It has more buttons on the sides, etc. However, it is basically a similar design. So you're going to be able to download the 3D print files to, I don't know how 3D printers work exactly, but to load into your 3D printer program. It'll bring up the 3D print of the buttons that you'll need, and you can customize them, etc, etc. So you'll be able to make your own designs there, which will really stand out with your mates and at competitions, etc. So that's pretty damn neat. So it is not available as yet. Well, it's not up on the ROCCAT website, but it is coming soon, as they say, and it's 3D print support. So that'll save you a bit of money. You won't have to buy it from ROCCAT. You'll be able to make your own sort of stuff there, which is pretty cool. Okay, to my final impressions of the ROCCAT Kiro. Well, as I said, I've been using the ROCCAT Kiro now for a couple of weeks, and I'm very impressed with it. It's got good lightweight design to it. It fits really neat in my hand. Now, I don't have small hands, I don't have large hands. I would say that I have the average male human sized hand, hopefully. It fits really great in my hand. I like the fact that I can remove the buttons on the left hand side because, as I said, I don't play hardcore video games. I don't need a hell of a lot of buttons. I do mainly audio and video editing, which you know, I've got enough buttons on the mouse with removing those too. So I like being able to remove those buttons so I don't bump them. You can disable buttons, I know that, but it's nice to have them gone. It gives you a better grip. You don't feel like you're going to be clicking buttons all the time. And yeah, overall it's been a very, very good mouse to use. The scroll wheel's nice and comfortable. The lightweight, the length in the cord, how it glides on my mouse pad. It's an impressive mouse. It is definitely worth using. If you don't want something that is of a higher grade, which has, you know, 1,000 buttons on it, maybe something like the NIF or anything like that, it is a very good, well-placed product in the market because it's not very expensive. It's reasonably priced. I won't mention the price because it's going to be different where you go and depending on when you watch this video, so I don't want to misguide some people. So yeah, overall I'm very impressed with the ROCCAT Kiro. It is an awesome mouse, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to use, and yeah, that's probably all I'd really need to say about it. It's I can't really think of any flaws. I mean, if I had to be nitpicky, I'd prefer it to have a braided cable versus the rubberized cable, but I guess that comes with price point, and the higher range models will always have your braiding on it. The upside down ROCCAT Kiro logo is annoying too, but as for actual usability, it's brilliant. Now, second to none. I have played video games with it, and it does the job very well. And the customizable parts on the Kiro as well is perfect and very easy to use. That's a real big selling point there. So on that note, I'll leave it there. That's been my review and unboxing for the ROCCAT Kiro. Thank you very much everybody for watching. Hopefully you get a little bit out of my reviews. If you'd like to check out our Facebook page, Aussie Gamers Express. Also, we've got a weekly podcast which is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, whole heap of different places. Check us out on our website as well at www.aussiegamersexpress.com. Check us out on everything. Definitely check out ROCCAT's products. They're definitely worth giving, very high quality, and the Kiro is no different. So thanks again. I have been Luke One for Aussie Gamers Express with another ROCCAT review. Thank you very much.